My name is Pragna Nidumolu, and I'm the founder of EcoTeens, which is an initiative that helps raise awareness of climate change and how teens can come together across the globe to do their part in making this world a greener place for them and the future's generations to live in. As a part of EcoTeens, we launched a podcast called The Green Stories to bring diverse perspectives on sustainability and what we all can do as global citizens to address climate change. Today we have a very special guest in this episode, Samir Chowdhury. Here's a little bit about him. He is an internationally acclaimed environmentalist and social entrepreneur at Stanford University, and he is the founder and chairman of Youth Climate Action Team Inc., and which is a global 501c climate justice advocacy nonprofit composed of over 1,700 youth over 27 countries. He's the 2021 Gen Z Leader in Energy and Sustainability, a Leaders in Energy Nonprofit Hall of Famer, and one of the Conversationalist 2021 LIST Honorees. And he is also famous for coining empathy models of change, and he's lectured at the Harvard Institute of Politics, Stanford School of Medicine, Commonwealth Club, and etc. He worked alongside the Biden administration, UNEP executive director and EPA administrator, and has his work featured in CNN, the Teen Magazine, Energy Central, and the Stanford Daily. In the future, he hopes to wield his past experiences in social impact advocacy and management to make a positive impact in this world by using policy and entrepreneurship as creative forces for sustainability planetary outcomes. Welcome, Samir.
Thank you so
That,
much for having me.
that is so impressive how much you've achieved at such a young age. And by the way, my brother's also a college freshman, and he's the founder of Gen Z Leaders, which is an organization to advocate Gen Z leadership. So that's
That's super
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, so jumping into the questions, you work on the Youth Climate Action Team across 27 countries with over 1,700 engaged youth. That's very impressive. So, as the founder and chairman, how are you impacting the change for climate justice advocacy?
Yeah, I'd love to answer that question. So YCAT, that's the acronym for Youth Climate Action Team Incorporated. We do a lot of work in various sectors to really uniquely tackle the climate crisis for each of its nuances, but also making sure that at the same time, we're giving engaging opportunities for youth to take action. So they're involved in opportunities that they're truly interested in. And some examples of this are one, primary and first most, since we are a 501c4, we do a lot of political lobbying. So anyone interested in political lobbying, organizing immediately works in our operations or communications branches where we facilitate lobbying mobilizations where we unite youth from across the world to call, email, sign petitions, and pretty much tell their elected representatives that we need change through various legislations. Two, we partner with high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools to implement climate education programs and summer camps. So we have created our own curriculums that we implement at various levels, whether it be at elementary school or middle school, or even at high schools. And what we do is we also offer microgrants and a lot of support to youth who organize initiatives so they can continue their incredible work. Apart from those main two initiatives, we do a lot of work organizing various summits where we unite global leaders and give them the opportunity, give youth the opportunity to meet them, engage with them, ask them questions, and hear their perspectives and insights. We're also currently doing scientific research that will soon be published in various scientific journals, and are also currently working on a picture book as well. Those more interested in international relations may work specifically in our global affairs branch that works to establish branches from across the world. We have active branches in Uganda, Canada. We're setting one up in Taiwan. We have some in South Korea. We have so many branches across the world, and that's actually one of my favorite parts of the work we do, that we're actively able to facilitate grassroots organizing in different countries outside of the United States. But yeah, I really wanted to highlight the fact that there is an opportunity for everyone. If you're more leaning towards STEM rather than politics, work in our research branch. Under operations branch, we are leading the Clean America Project, which is the world's first global team-led energy study. And we've united over 100 youth from across the world to really do some really cool scientific work. So yeah, that's just a little bit of the work we do. Thank you so much.
That's so interesting. And you mentioned that you have a summit for youth to meet global leaders. That that's really cool since for EcoTeens, I'm actually planning on holding a summit in June or July with sustainability leaders to talk on sustainability and more and climate change and how youth can help.
That's really awesome. I'm so happy that you're doing that.
So, my next question is, you're also in the 2021 Gen Z Leader in Energy and Sustainability. So, how can Gen Z across the world come together at this stage of climate crisis to bring about a tangible change for the future of our planet?
Tangible change comes through policy change. And the only way we can go about that is by putting pressure on our elected representatives to quite simply do their jobs. Our representatives were elected to represent us and advocate the people's beliefs into policy. And if we can continue calling, emailing, lobbying our legislators, and voting to elect legislators that have the same priorities as us, we can take an impact and we can make an impact on this issue and start paving the way for the future that we want to see.
So, you're saying that, like, by voting and emailing and by just advocating for this cause, we can change policies. That's really powerful. Wow. So you coined the initiative called Empathy Models of Change, and you advocated for the same at various prestigious institutions such as Harvard and Stanford. So can you elaborate on what these empathy models of change entail?
Yeah, so empathy models of change is more of like a theory, an organizational theory regarding social change. So, whenever we tackle issues like the climate crisis and are trying to cultivate solutions, whether it be technologies, businesses, um, policy, empathy models of change means that we are prioritizing communities most impacted by these issues while creating those solutions. The communities that can empathize most with the climate crisis, marginalized communities, have unique lived experiences of how environmental issues impact them. And we shouldn't have solution makers create solutions for people other than themselves, for communities that they can't represent or understand or empathize with. So it's absolutely imperative that when we're creating policies, we're actively reaching out to marginalized communities that will be impacted most by the climate crisis. We shouldn't have we shouldn't have policy be completely void of empathy because the policies we create must be created with the understanding of those unique lived experiences, those disproportionate impacts that these environmental issues have on various communities.
That's that's so interesting how the empathy models have changed. That is a really interesting topic. And so, if a young activist or social entrepreneur would like to collaborate with you towards this cause or in any way, how might they reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can just reach out to the YCAT email. Contact@ycatinc.com is your go-to email for anything related to YCAT, getting involved in climate action. That is just the best way to reach out to me. And you can get involved through our website, through our socials. We're at Youth Climate Inc. on pretty much every platform. Um, but yeah, definitely reach out through social media, through email. I would say those are the best methods to contact me for sure.
Okay, and finally, what is your call to action for the youth and Gen Z community to come together and own this? Because the future belongs to us. So basically, what's your message to the community?
Yeah, so tying back to empathy models of change, our generation will be most impacted by this issue. We can empathize most with the issue, and we understand how adversely this issue will impact our futures. Policymakers can't empathize with this issue or have trouble empathizing with this issue because, quite simply, a lot of the people in power today won't be impacted when this issue is at its peak. So we have to understand that this issue uniquely impacts us and it's our duty to take action on it. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be. Past generations have failed to act, but it's absolutely imperative that we work to hold corporations accountable that are causing this climate crisis. We are putting pressure on our elected officials. We are actively going out of our way in our community, working at a local level, think globally, but act locally, because we know our communities best and we know how to solve this issue in our community best. And I guess those are the parting words I would say to Gen Z.
I totally agree that it's better to act sooner than later for this very important cause because it couldn't affect our future generations in a huge way. Thank you so much for joining us today, and it was such a pleasure talking to you. And see you in the next one.